All right, y'all, let's do this. Another episode of Sex, Drugs, and Soul. Today I have on one of my dear friends and cheerleaders, like one of those people that'll call you whenever they know that you're going through a tough time. She also happens to be a self-love and freedom master coach and just a badass human all in all. And so I love you so much, and I'm happy to have this conversation with you. Done a lot of episodes recently about sex, and so I figured we'd highlight a lot of faith or soul spirituality today. I feel like it's been really present for me, especially like coming off freaking Red Clay Strays. Like, how dope was that?
Oh my God, that was such a good show.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me. It is such
Mhm.
an honor to sit and share space and talk. And I love your podcast. And thank you for letting me be a part of it and bring some value.
Yeah, I'm hoping some people just feel like they're eavesdropping in on our conversation and have the takeaways to go with it.
Yes.
Right? I know. So I guess I want to start with like some of the concert.
Yeah, it's funny. They literally are just playing in my car when I turned it on.
Like just because, it's so alive for me, like that morning, how I asked for a sign. And you know this, but just for context for people, that morning, I've been like revisiting scripture after old Austin Tice gave me a call and like told me a story. He's like, I think that your belief in all things working out for good stems from Romans 8:28. And I was like, well, I got it from my mom, so that might track. So I've kind of been like just diving into scripture, seeing what resonates for me and more. But like the last month has been super fucking challenging.
I know it,
Um,
girl.
yeah. And so it was like Sunday, I asked for a sign. I'm like, God, I need a sign. Like, I need to know whether to give this up to just keep pushing through. I'm like, I need a sign. I'm like, show me. And like, I had woken up that morning, it's like my eyeballs were like, ping. I was like, thank you for today. And just like had my meditation and then just was like going through some things and like seeing what I needed to shift or like, do I change the podcast title or because like I've been doing some censorship stuff. But so we go to the concert that night on Sunday. Wasn't expecting it at all, and I'd kind of forgotten that I'd asked in some ways, which is good, right? Set and release. And then they told their story of like just holding their faith,
Mhm.
not giving up, and working hard for it. And I was like, all right,
And I
brought
love
tears to
that.
my eyes, and I was like, I got my sign.
And I love too that they spoke about how that was the biggest concert that they'd sold out. And like we were part of their biggest group of people, and how that was so inspiring to them because it gets kind of jaded when you watch people perform or people do stuff that's polished that do it all the time. But for us to feel so appreciated as the audience as being a big moment for them was like, oh, it
Oh,
just warmed my heart.
for sure. And then like getting the inside scoop on like, okay, they were like driving for
Uber.
Uber to like make ends meet during COVID and didn't know if they were going to press through or whatever and make it. And so, and I want to tie up and tee and you were like freaking out. They're like, they're talking about Jesus here. and kind of what Josh, like, what the takeaway was for him on some of the conversations that y'all had. Cause I know your faith is like, I mean, she asked me if we all wanted to pray before this podcast and I already had my little, like what I was saying on the drive over here. And, but she's like the friend. I'm like, at every meal, she's like, you want to say a blessing before we eat? And I'm like, yes. So we'll be just out in public, like, do. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, hurry it up, Veronica. I'm hungry. Thank you. Let's eat. And so how long, I mean, I guess, how long have you had that relationship?
Yeah. So I love, as you know, the topic of faith. Faith
Mhm.
over fear is one of my most favorite things to educate on. And it's something I bring into my own life all the time. And so I would love to talk faith versus fear in a few moments. But to answer
Mhm.
your question, so for me, I have had Jesus come to me since I was really little. And there was a lot of instability in my house when I was a little kid. And until I moved in with my grandparents, it was just my parents were really young, doing the best that they could to raise a toddler. My father was a musician, and they were both just strapped. And when I was really little and alone, Jesus would come to me. And I didn't know who it was, but the spirit and the energy of Jesus and Mary were always around me when I was little. I've had that gift of being able to connect with spirit and feeling presence and seeing presence. And then I was in Catholic church. I want to say it was Sunday school either first grade or kindergarten, and they were talking about Jesus, and Jesus was on the wall. And I was like, I know him. And the nuns were like, yes, everybody should know Jesus. I was like, no, he comes to my house. Like, that's my friend. And I guess I was upsetting the other kids because Jesus didn't come to their house. And so I actually got in trouble for saying that I had a personal relationship with Jesus in my life as a 6-year-old. And they called my grandparents and were like, she needs to just tone it down that she's hanging out with Jesus. The other kids are getting jealous. Da, 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 da. And so I got moved from that school. So my grandma's like, isn't that what you want, is to have a personal relationship with Jesus? And so then just moving forward, he has always been an inspiration to me. And then I did Youth for Christ. I did all of them, all the different things. I did hosted Sunday school. I had led youth groups. But what I really appreciate is I was able to find him in a way that wasn't attached to a specific religion. So, like,
I love that.
yes, because there was Serbian Orthodox, there was Catholicism, there was like Pentecostal. Everyone in my family had a different version of faith. And so my dad was like, she's gonna choose who she wants to go to church with. She's gonna choose if she wants to get baptized or not. And let's just let her explore, which is
Cool.
a wild gift.
Yeah, a beautiful gift. Because I think for
Yeah.
so long I had associated or attached it to what I'd grown up with. And so there was a kickback. Did you ever at any point have any like waverings or moments of like
The only
doubt
time I
or
didn't want to
yeah.
see Jesus is when I was at Serbian Orthodox church with my granny on Sunday mornings, and she was always late. And as they leave, the European women would kiss the picture of Jesus with a plexiglass. So by the time we got it, it had a mound of lipstick on it.
Okay.
So that was when I was terrified to see Jesus's face because of the lipstick.
And now I'm like, okay, come here, baby.
But no, he's been just a confidant, a rock, a healer, a friend, and just one of the most important spirits in my life.
Yeah, I mean, like such a beautiful gift to like make and create your own relationship versus like feeling like you got to fit into some box.
Right.
Whether it's like one that society is like pressuring us to be in, or like one that we feel like we have to try to squeeze in ourselves, even though it's like we can color outside the lines. And I loved what one of our friends had said too, after conversating with you about your relationship. He's like, I feel like you just undid years and years of religious trauma.
Which makes me like so happy because I understand the fact that I was so hungry that I got to read different texts. I got to go to Mormon school with one of my friends. I got to learn about Islam from another one of my friends. So I never had this, you have to do this in order to get this, or else you're a bad person. That was never part of my awareness in my relationship and my faith. And so when I see people who were brought up in this shame, I'm like, that's the exact opposite than the Jesus I know. The Jesus I know is like, you're forgiven. You can do better. And if you fall again, you're still forgiven. Just it's in your heart. Where you coming from? And so that loving presence of love and light and a complete acceptance exactly the way you are, complete possibility for you to do anything that you want as long as you're helping other people, is the freedom that Jesus offers to me. So when I hear all of the other programs that was the opposite, it breaks my heart.
Yeah, I mean, because it colors your whole worldview. Like if you like any actions you're making, and it's interesting. But I mean, that just speaks to like the profoundness of like your presence, or just like communicating, like sharing stories of upbringing, right? Like it wasn't like we're going to talk about this now. It's just like sharing, and now it all transpired, and I think that's really cool.
And I love, like, when I do recall the conversation. So we were talking with a friend of ours after the show, and he was talking about his scarred relationship with Jesus, and I was just like, Jesus loves you no matter what. And he's like, but I've been so bad. I've done this. I've done that. I was like, does not matter. You get to love yourself too. And it's okay. It is 100% forgiven. 100%. And I just remember him being like, oh, it's such a relief. And so that to me is like the most important part of the teachings on how to let love be the pathway in which you're walking your life down.
Yeah, it's like, what would love do? And I love the reframe recently that a teacher of mine gave me about moving from love instead of for it. And like just that energetic shift. And I know you wanted to touch on faith and fear too, so I don't want to lose that little pinpoint.
This is one of my favorite ways, and I educate on this all the time, to look at faith and fear together, is that faith and fear both want the exact same thing from you. They want you to put your energy and your awareness into something that has not happened yet. Whether it's the good or the bad, it hasn't happened yet. And whatever we give our attention to is literally what we create.
Mhm.
So, do you want to create worst case scenario, or do you want to create best case scenario? And every opportunity we take a breath, we get to choose where we're going to put our next moment of attention. And one other thing I like to say about that, Michael Bernard Beckwith says that Bob Marley always would say that worrying is like saying prayers to the devil.
Mm.
You're just asking for more and more and more of it. So that faith versus fear, it's like it's just allows you in every breath, you get to make a new opportunity. Best case scenario, where the world is on my side. Worst case scenario. But the choice is always up to you, because if you think it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's why I think it's so important too to like be conscious of what we're consuming or where we're directing our energy or attention and like feeding it and what feeds. Like if the feeling is the feedback, what's feeding that fear and what's feeding that
Yeah.
that faith? It's just
And it's like meditation. Like another, tip I'd love to give the
Mhm.
listeners is that when we're in that Shavasana state, I'm also a yoga teacher, and when we're in sweet Shavasana and we're quieting our minds, we're not going to fight with a thought when it comes. We're going to see it and say, I'm not choosing to engage with you, and I'm going to come back to stillness. I'm not choosing to engage with you, I'm going to come back to stillness. Well, whenever a fear thought comes, it's the exact same process. You just say, thank you for trying to keep me safe, fear, but today I'm turning my attention back to faith
Mhm.
every time it comes.
Yeah, one of the most powerful like books, I'm like top 5 for sure, is The Untethered Soul.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that one was like,
Singer.
"Oh, you mean I'm not my thoughts?
Mhm.
I'm the observer." And then I can actually like choose better thoughts for myself that feed myself or my vision or what I want to create in the world.
Yep.
And like, yeah, so that was like just was like poof
Yeah.
poof.
That's what yoga did for me. It
Mhm.
just really allowed me to go, wait a minute, I just went 3 minutes without a thought. Cool.
Yeah.
And then realizing I choose no thank you, or I choose yes please when it comes to the
Mhm.
thoughts in my head.
Yeah. And then just realizing that even in those trying times that we do have, like I believe like having that faith helps us to get through it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Were there any challenging moments in your life where your faith helped you get through it
Oh my
that you care
gosh.
to share? Like,
Today
just
or
like,
this week or my
I mean, we could go back to young Veronica. We could go
Yeah.
teen, we can throw some hormones in there. We can,
Um, so I'll tell you a funny story because
yeah.
it's so when I was last year, not this year, but the year before, I was in Costa Rica for a friend's wedding, got baptized in the ocean. It was beautiful with a couple other people from the wedding. I was in the wedding, and it was I know you know the story, but
I'm like, do I?
as I was
Okay.
leaving the resort and I was going to visit other friends, I went on like the less traveled side of the island and I rented a car.
Mm.
And I'm going along in this car and I don't really see anybody. And the thing about Costa Rica on that side of the island is typically they let fires roam. And that's how they clear out the dead parts of the forest, I guess, because it's so healthy stuff doesn't burn with a small fire. So there's always like some little fire off in the distance or whatnot. So I'm leaving the resort. I had so much anxiety that day, just out of nowhere. But then my friend's husband was like, well, you're driving alone in a foreign country. You should have a little bit of anxiety, Veronica.
Yeah.
And so I'm going around this corner and it's like starting to get smoky. I'm by myself. There's no internet. It is a 2-lane road in the jungle in the middle of Costa Rica. And I don't see any other cars. No cars are coming towards me. I turn a corner and it is fire. Like fire. To the left of me, the fire was as tall as my window. To the right of me, it was about 3 feet. I couldn't see in front of me. I started to have a 100% breakdown. And I was like, fight, flight, or freeze. I froze. Like I couldn't even put my foot to move the gas because I was being consumed by flames. And in that moment, I heard this really strong voice that was like, breathe. And I was like, God, please help me get through this if that's your will. And within a few moments, I was able to start operating my car again, but it was still full fire. And so I was driving slow enough that I didn't catch the wheels on fire. I mean, slow enough so I didn't hit another car or a tree,
Mhm.
but not too fast or not too slow that I didn't catch my wheels on fire. And so I'm going at this weird space. And then I'm like, in my head, I was like, there's no way that God is going to let me die the day I got baptized. And then I was like, shit, is that why I got baptized today? Because this is the day I die?
I mean, that'd be kind of poetic in some way.
Right? But no, there was that faith. I literally couldn't see in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
It was hot. I didn't know if I was to turn around or what I was supposed to do. I was 100% alone. And God was just like, keep moving forward, breathe.
Yeah.
Keep moving forward, breathe.
Yeah.
And I heard it as like the day was long. And then I went around another corner and it cleared up.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm fine.
It's like one breath, one step at a time.
Mhm.
That's not kind of a good story and like analogy or metaphor for the world because what fires are all around us or whatever. But if you have like a true north
Yep.
of faith or a vision or a purpose or love or something, right?
Yes.
I feel like instead of focusing and directing your attention to this chaos over here, or this fire over here, or this one, then
just keep moving forward. And I could have turned around, and that's probably the most literal example of faith because I could not see where I was going, but God was like, move forward, keep breathing. And then in like less dramatic senses, when I when I was really going all in on myself and I just moved to Austin and I chose to completely leave entertainment and I only wanted to do stuff that was helping humanity and share the gifts and the tools and the skills that I have in my practice. It was really hard because I got paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
I was producing for commercials. I was doing acting for commercials. I was working on set coordinating. It was a good amount of money, but it was literally sucking my soul dry. And so teaching yoga gave me so much value. Working with clients gave me so much value. But selling these products that I wouldn't even use in my body was like, I just felt like I was living a sham.
Yeah, it's
completely.
and authenticity.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, it's like one thing if you're, promoting a product that you love, like
Right.
𝐭𝐜𝐿 Cold Brew, who I want to sponsor me. Versus
heard it first here, kids.
versus like, a product that, you don't.
Yeah.
Right. So,
And when I came here, I had gotten to this point where I was like, I had enough savings for a little while. I was like, I'm going to do 1 or 2 remote jobs just to help with coordinating. But I was like, I want to go all in on my mission, which is self-love and freedom, and build from the ground up here in Austin where I didn't really know anybody. And I would just trust the signs. Like the first job that I got at hosting ceremony and sound bath, I was just at lunch with somebody. She's like, do you want to go get cacao at this meditation place? And I was like, where? Sure. I love cacao. And we went into there, and Third Eye Meditation Lounge was there. And they had a bulletin board, and I was hosting an event. So I was like, hey, can I put my flyer up on your thing? And she's like, we usually just do this for our people. I was like, how do I become one of those? And she was like, well, what do you do? And I was like, well, I do, sound and ceremony. And she's like, we just lost our Friday night sound girl. And I was like, well, you're welcome. Here I am. And then that's like how I started to build. And when I finally said no more production jobs, because I didn't want to spend 1 more ounce on something that wasn't lighting me up, I was really, really scared. And I had this moment where I just was like, you know what? If God provided for me, and I had a lot of success doing things like bartending where I wasn't helping anybody, or doing things that didn't light me up, like selling products I would never use. Now that I'm going all in on my gifts and doing something to serve humanity, there ain't no way in hell that I'm not going to be completely provided for. But it was scary. Like that's going all in on yourself, which you very much know about, is scary.
Well,
and there was, there was moments where I was like, I'm going to pay my bills.
No, and I kind of like the 2 things came up. One, I'm like, I think you might have been helping while you were bartending too, like listening to people or just sharing your energy or insight. So that came up for me, but also like courage. Like the courage to ask, like you're going up to like the third eye peeps and be like, well, how do I become one of those people? Because I don't know if people will really put themselves out there like that all the time, or like go face to face or ask a question and like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like they say no. Well, is it any different than before? So what instilled you to like have that courage to put yourself out there and to...
I love courage because, courage is being able to sit with the fear and move forward anyways. And it's not lack of fear, that's for sure certain. But I really trust the signs. Like when I'm in, like, and I almost every single day of my life, I ask, God, show me what to do, what to say, and to who. Like, this, I'm yours. Like, how can I serve best? Like, that's my prayer almost every day. And it was really big then because I was looking to create community and find, income. So the second I saw an opportunity where I could be a part of a company that I felt really good about, of
Mhm.
course I'm going to ask, but maybe not get the email or maybe not do the email. That could have been a hindering thing. But I was like, I'm emailing her right now. Mama's got to pay some bills.
I'm motivated.
I am
I
motivated.
don't really wanna live in my car.
Yes.
Well, and I'm
um,
glad you did too, because that's where we
yeah,
met.
it totally
At,
is.
like, the sound bath, and I was wanting to find a little more community, and I kind of stalked you for a
Yeah.
little bit and
It was
went
like 3
to
sound
yeah.
baths in a row. And I was like, so do you want to make this official or do I need to call the police?
"You wanna grab coffee?"
Or do I need a restraining order? Like, let me know which direction this is headed.
Who knows? I mean, still don't know.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
I think too, I did a lot of professional sports and theater and
Mm,
drama.
mhm.
So like when I was in high school, I was like swim team, student government, debate, yearbook, cheerleading. I did so many different things where we got to abdicate for ourselves. And like if you wanted to go and you had to audition for the next thing, or you'd had to go do a campaign if you want to be treasurer of your class junior year, or you'd have to. So I owned and honed a lot of skills of abdicating for myself
Mm.
through, sports and theater and the arts. And also, I changed schools a lot when I was little. Like every year and a half, I was in a new school because just family stuff. And so I think that in order for me to have friends, I had to have a lot of courage. And I mean, I got bullied a lot in 8th grade. So, not saying it was always honky dory and easy because it wasn't. But I think just being the new kid on the block all the time, you just learn. I got to just go forth and try to make some friends and make
Mhm.
opportunity happen for me. And then being in sports, you've got to try out if you're going to get to varsity all 4 years in
Yeah.
tennis.
I'm curious if it's like our generation type of thing too, a little bit, because like, we didn't grow up with, like, those screens
Hmm.
and, like, have, like, that kind of connection,
Hmm.
like, through a screen
Hmm.
versus, like,
No,
the
you had to show
in-person.
up.
You had to show up and, like, I remember going, like, door to door to try and sell stuff
Hmm.
or, just being outside or playing or, like, making friends at new schools or that sort of thing. So I'm curious too. Like, how would you suggest like people put themselves out there more often or like get in touch? Maybe because maybe it's a self-worth
Hmm.
thing. Maybe you could speak to that if they don't feel like they're worthy enough to speak up or advocate for themselves.
I love to tell people, and you're having a bad day, if you're feeling really isolated, go out and help someone.
Mm.
Even if that's just making 5 sandwiches at your house, putting them in paper bags, and going and giving them to some homeless people. Like just that act of connecting with another person who's in need helps you to get out of your own head, get out of your
Mm.
own way, bypass that fear so that you can be of the service to somebody else. I like that as a good way to get out of your head. Also, I like the smile game. So I'm going to smile
Mm.
at 5 people today that I don't know.
Mm.
And I don't know them, so screw it if they don't say back, smile back, and just having
Mhm.
that, okay, today I'm going to do 5 people. And I love giving that to my clients that are shy because then by the end of like a week, they're like, I had so many smiles. And it gets you just out of that comfort zone.
Mhm. You never know like who really needs that smile.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was like my way of saying hello when I moved to LA for the first time. I was like smiling, hey, let's be friends. Like, hey,
Totally.
like, yeah. It's lonely out
Yeah.
here.
And I'm
So
from a
you find
small
your
town in
fam.
Montana
Yeah.
too. Like if you don't say hi, how are you? You're a jerk.
Yeah, yeah. Hi, the wave,
Hmm.
all kinds of
Yes.
things. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
bait.
But I
Um,
think you're right, though. It's definitely a generational thing because you can meet people without actually going up and meeting them and having that security of, well, we already met online, so I'm going to meet you at this exact time. It's not as scary, even though it might be nerve wracking. But I think it is true that we definitely, our generation had more in person FaceTime experiences of being liked and not being liked because we
mhm.
didn't have choice.
Yeah, and to put ourselves out there and like
Hmm.
maybe like build some of the grit or some of the, I don't know, courage
Yeah.
to put ourselves out there.
And also, like, I believe in synchronicities, I
Oh,
believe in
me too.
miracles.
Yeah, I have a freaking note in my phone. It's over there, I guess, but where I'm like synchronicity moment, so that whenever one pops up, I notate it. So I'm like, oh, I'm paying attention to them. They're going to happen more. But yeah, synchronicity and miracles. I didn't mean to cut you
No, no,
off.
no, please.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly right. The more you are notating it and saying, thank you, can I get some more? Thank you, can I get some more? The
Mm,
more the universe is going to give you more. And
mhm.
so, because I truly believe that I am divinely led and I have such unwavering faith that God's got my back, then that's when the things tend to come into play more easy for me. So, when I had the mold poisoning at my old place, I distinctly remember after it was happening and I was in just like, what in the actual F is going on? And I did not want to move apartments. And so I had mold poisoning in my old home and came out of nowhere. And 1.5 months before she and I are taking a very long retreat to the UK,
Yeah.
I find out I not only have black mold poisoning in my apartment, but I can't take any of my furniture with me. So I get to have a whole new home and then buy furniture for an entire 2-bedroom home just a few weeks before I'm about to go to the United Kingdom for almost a month. And I remember distinctly looking at Leslie. She's a fellow yoga teacher. And I was like, she's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I don't know, but I know without a shadow of a doubt, there's something even better for me on the other side of this.
Mhm.
I know that for a fact. And that was that.
Yeah. To me, it's like, well, sister, you're gonna burn it all down to the ground and rebuild.
Yep.
And then, or because I also remember, like, you were kind of toying with the idea, like, should I move? Should I not? Should I
Right.
upgrade or go move?
Mhm.
And so it's like I feel like sometimes when
I
we
didn't
don't
listen to
listen to that
yep.
those whispers, they become a yell or like a nudge and then a yell. And I mean, like I've totally done that
Yes.
before.
So I like to say it's either you get a push from the
Yeah,
universe, you
yeah,
get a punch, or you get a
yeah,
bus.
yeah. It's like,
What do you want to get hit by?
yeah. I'm like, I want the whisper.
Thank
Or
you.
yeah.
But no, my place now, it is beyond lovely. Like I have a
Yeah.
beautiful yard. I am in the green belt. Every morning, less than a minute walk, I am at sky glass looking like there's no reason why I'm not going to spend so much time in nature because it's my actual beautiful backyard with almost
Mhm.
no EMFs, totally quiet. I feel very, very safe there. And it's a stretch than what I was paying before, which I was a little bit afraid not to take it.
Mhm.
And I thought I could be safe and stay in this place for another year and I could save this much money. And I had all these ideas what I would do. But there was also a part of me that's like, you should probably get out.
Mm.
And then now looking back, I should have listened when my intuition first said so because I had, as you know, a lot of health challenges as a result of that
Mhm.
black mold. And because of the most amazing detox products, because of the most amazing EFT practice, which helps your body to detoxify, I was able to collapse time and how quickly I healed from my mold path. And I love my new place.
Mhm.
So I could have done without the mold poisoning. But had I listened to my intuition first and foremost, then I probably wouldn't have gone through all that.
But yeah, now though you can speak to the mold poisoning and then like help other people through that same journey,
Yeah.
like walk the path. Be like, hey, I've been there. Like this, I was scared
Oh,
about
it makes you
this.
think you're
Or
killing yourself. Like,
yeah.
I literally, and this is not figuratively, there was times when I genuinely question me. I genuinely question what's the point? Like,
Mhm.
what am I doing here? Meanwhile, I'm helping like dozens of people every week. And I was like, and I called my two of my best friends from back home and I was like, just have to say these words out loud. I'm questioning this. I'm not going to do anything, but I'm questioning this.
Mhm.
And then, of course, my really good friend, Susie Q, she's like, great, what's your plan? And I was like, okay, starting today, I'm going to do the trail morning and night, no matter what. Starting today, I'm going to do my own EFT practice on top of. And I
Mhm.
made the plan of exactly how to help my mental health so I wouldn't fall. And then when I found out about a month later what was really causing it, it was such a relief that I wasn't
Mhm.
just going crazy.
Yeah, it's like, phew.
It's scary.
Yeah, I told myself that's kind of like I was like, I'm riding my ship this week. I'm doing my movement, my meditation and prayer. I'm like,
I love it.
yeah, I'm like all the things. I just committed to an hour a day riding challenge.
I
Not
love it.
challenge. I'm not going to use the word challenge. Commitment,
Yeah.
to putting words on the page. I just did like 20, 30 minutes of it before this conversation. I was like, oh, that came out nicely. And it was so fun. And so it's like we're pivoting
I love that
while
so
not
much.
bypassing the moments where I've got to fall apart because, just like
Right.
missing my grandma. Whew. But I want to talk about London a little bit too. I'm like, let me talk to the time. Okay, we're good.